Hey there, it's James Frederick. Welcome to All Over the Board. I'm here in Provincetown and I'm bringing you the fourth exhibition of 2025. And wow, what a summer. It flew by. So it's Labor Day weekend here and it's already feeling very chilly. So these pieces are works that have evolved over time. I started doing this type of work in 2016, and to be honest, it was kind of an accident. I did a series of street scenes that I called Gables and Cables because I was obsessed with the rooftops and the wires of Provincetown, and some of them were on wood and some of them were on canvas. And when I went to do the utility lines, I used oil pastel, and that spawned this entire body of work. I love the way it looked, the wood grain kind of giving it texture and the oil pastel on top of the paint. And so these pieces have evolved over these 10 years now that I've been doing them. This is the 10th season of these pieces. They've gotten very colorful, and I've moved beyond street scenes to marinas and lighthouses and more natural vistas versus the built architecture of Provincetown. You'll still see some of that as well. So I have 26 pieces I'll take you through, but I wanted to give you a little background about the process first. So these are done on artist panels, which are often referred to as cradled panels. So it's basically a piece of ply, in this case birch, cradled on pine or poplar. So that's that technique where they put the thinner piece up against this more rigid structure to give it stability. If it's a large piece, it sometimes has extra support cross beams, if you will, across the panel for support. So then after I select the ones I'm going to paint, I use some matte medium that I mix with the acrylic because I want a thinner viscosity. I want the grain to come through, and you'll see that apparently on some of these pieces. Then after it dries, I paint the edges, and then after that dries, I smooth the grain, and I do that with a piece of tracing paper or vellum, and then like a squeegee, just to knock that grain back down because the moisture raises it a bit. If I didn't do that, these would be very rough and it would look almost like I was drawing on sandpaper. So after that happens, then I look at my photos. I have like thousands of photos I've taken here over the years, and I thumb through the ones that might work on these panels. And then based on the grain and the way I've painted it, a certain photo will kind of spark like this is the one, I'm going to do this one. And so that's the one that I set out to draw. And I use oil pastels and pencil to do the illustration. And I use these oil pastels. This is the smaller set. I have two sets of oil pastels that were my father's when he was in art school. So these are from the 1940s. Some of these, especially in the other set, have gotten to be the smallest little pieces that I can barely hold in my hand to do these illustrations. And the oil in these is pretty dry, so I'm able to bear down, which I like. I have bought some newer pastels, and some of these do feature some of the medium from those newer pastels. They're a little softer and they take a little longer for the oil to dry to the wood panel. I call it a curing process. And then I also use pencil on some of the finer lines, and I use a pencil that's very waxy. So it is in the same vein that the oil dries, the wax will dry, and these become fixed. So I don't seal them up, so you don't want to put them in direct sunlight or damp bathroom. But if I would seal them, they look very monolithic, and I love the play of the medium against the substrate, and then the light playing with the grain of the wood, which again is lost if I varnish these. So So these are very delicate, but they're hardy enough that you can, dust them with a Swiffer. Just keep them, again, out of direct sunlight or damp bathroom. But I'm going to take you through these. I have 26 pieces, and I'll chat with you at the end. There's also a link here in the description that you can go to get more details about the finish size with the frame, shipping, pricing, all of that. So right here in the description. All right, let's go through these. So there is a number of them. This piece is called At Atlantic Avenue, and hopefully you'll see the wood grain on these and the detail of the pencil. The thicker parts are the oil pastel. You can see it here in the water. These are all framed in white floating frames, by the way. So these first few are 8 by 8, and this one is called At Atlantic Avenue. And this is basically the Martin House here in Provincetown at Atlantic Avenue and Commercial Street. So it's an iconic view, and you get a little peek at Long Point in the distance there. So this is called At Atlantic Avenue. This piece is called Lady Slipper, and this is the Little Red Store on Commercial Street, and it has had a lot of iterations over the years. It was painted yellow at one point, and now it's red again. But this year there was a little pop-up bar that's been quite the place to hang out, and it's called Lady Slipper. So I wanted to make sure that I included this. So, and this one's on more of a red background. This piece is called Hindu in the Harbor, and it's also 8 by 8. So it's simpler, but I love the simplicity and the reflection of the sails. This is a big schooner that comes, now that it's been restored, every year here in Provincetown. And you can see it in relation to Long Point in this take on it. This piece is called Dune Bliss, and I drew this from a photo I took when I stayed at the Dune Shack. That's the Seascape Dune Shack. You can see the Pilgrim Monument in the distance over the dunes. And I love how this piece turned out. Some of those beach roses in the foreground. If you walk up the hill to the ocean, you look back and can see this view of the shack. And this piece is called Summertime Harbor. And let's see if I can get it in good light here. It's a view from the east end of town where you get to see the whole town, but look how lovely that wood grain is. So this piece shows off the UU, the town hall, library, the monument. So Summertime Harbor. This piece is called In the Dunes, and this is the Seascape Shack that I was referencing earlier at a kind of closer vantage point. So the next piece is called Race Point Sunset, and it's 24 by 24. And this one has some amazing wood grain in it. So let me just get a little closer here. I'm hoping this comes through with the video, but look at this. It was gorgeous. And I used this kind of crimson into orange and then back to crimson, and look how it came out. I love it. That's Race Point in the distance there with Hatches Harbor. And the big piece, 24 by 24. Yeah, the color is stunning in this one. Let's see, there, now we can see the grain a little bit more. So it's such a cool aspect of these. All right, and this piece I call To First Landing Park, and this is a view in the 70s of Commercial Street, headed to the west, which is the direction that the park is in. It's kind of at the very tip. These are all 12 by 12. This one is called Out at Wood End Light, and so this is Wood End Lighthouse. See the wood grain here. And I love this piece. This one is on more of a blue-gray. This piece is called Orange Sky at Race Point, and it's a similar view as that large one, but more of a tangerine color. And this piece is one of my favorite views. It's Cottage Street at Tremont, and I'm calling this one Harbor Peak from the West End. I think you can find it on my website. Yeah, and this piece is called Coming Into Port, and it's basically a view of being out like on a boat heading in towards the pier. So I love the reflection in this one, and you get the whole town. This piece is a little more involved. This one is called To Herring Cove South, and it's a pathway that we take to get to the beach. And you can see the water off in the distance there. This was a lot of fun to illustrate. I used the pastel in a little bit more of a painterly way on this piece. Again, it's called To Herring Cove South. This piece is called Crimson Night, and it's this beautiful view of Long Point Light. You can see the bay wrapping around, Truro in the distance there, and a few boats. Yeah, I love the reflections in this one. This one's reading a little pink on this video, and it's a slightly redder, but definitely into the crimsons. So this piece is called Salt Marsh, and it's 12 by 12, and again it takes on a little more of that painterly approach to the oil pastel. I love how the depth of the marsh grass came out and the darkness under the clouds. And you can still see that apparent wood grain coming through, which I love. This piece is called All for Art, and this is that little alley off Gosnold that takes you back to Julie Heller's Beach Gallery, where their sign says art. I love this. I've told this story over and over again, but all of these years that I have been working here, I have sometimes questioned my sanity in the middle of the winter walking down to my gallery. And as I come down from where I live, this sign is directly ahead of me as I turn on Commercial. And it just reminded me, just make art. So there we go. It's called All for Art. This piece I call Twilight Sail, and it is kind of a beached sunfish sailboat, a little one ready to go out for the twilight. This one I call Shore for Days, or something. Yeah, it's called Days from Shore. That's it, because it is looking at the day's cottages from the shore. So this piece is 12 by 12. I love the extra little oomph I gave the sky here with some oil pastel. And this piece is called Wood End Walk, And it's basically crossing the jetty to get to, or the breakwater to get to Wood End on a beautiful blue day. All right. And this piece, oh, we've got a little bee here visiting. Hello. This piece is called Moores Marsh, and it's a view that you might be familiar with if you've been here to Provincetown. If you cross the moors to go to a beach that we call Boy Beach, you get to look through the vista of this this saltwater basin that fills up. It's a tidal basin, and it fills up with water closer to high tide and then depletes. So it's a beautiful natural environment. And this is my take of it when it is closer to high tide and a lot of the water has come in. It's large, it's 24 by 24. You get a view of Wood End here in the distance, and the barrier dune where the beach is just on the other side. So there's, and this piece up here is called Nightfall. So these are 8 by 8, and this is a view of the sunset from the east end of town. And this piece I call Cottage Street, and it's just another rendition of that view I love at Tremont and Cottage. Love the wood grain in the sky of this one. A little peek of the harbor. And this one is called Race Point Rays. It's kind of out of focus for some reason. Maybe if I come back to it, it will be more in focus. This one is called Breakwater Walk, and it's that walk out to Wood End. Look at the grain, I love it. All right, let's go back and see if we can get a little more clarity on this piece. Yeah, there, it's a little more focused. So this is the Race Point Rays. Yep. And now we'll go down to this piece. It's called Beach Forest Walk. And this is a boardwalk that goes through Beach Forest. And I love how this piece turned out. It has a lot of those kind of autumn hues starting to happen, be happening soon here in Provincetown. And finally, this last piece is called Board for Days. And it's just another view of the Days cottages, but it's a winter view. So the windows have the protective seasonal boards that they put on the glass. So there we go. That is all of the collection. Quite a large body of work today. So thank you for joining me for All Over the Board. Again, you can get details right in this description. That goes right to my online store to see the final sizes and pricing. All original pieces shipped for free within the US. So also, I just wanted to let you know that one of these pieces is available in the PAM auction, which ends next week. It's a silent auction online, and I'll include a link here, and you can go to that piece if you want to bid on that. 100% of it goes to PAM. And so this is the end of the summer here. So I'm not sure when my next exhibition will be in the fall. I haven't actually plotted it yet, but I'll probably be back to see you one more time this year. Thanks, everyone.